Brooklyn, New York. Brownsville, summer of 1980. The streets are unforgiving. Concrete and broken glass. Graffiti covering every surface. Police sirens in the distance. This is where Mike Tyson grows up. 14 years old. Already 190 pounds. Already in trouble. Already angry at the world. Mike Tyson is not a boxer yet. Not really. He is a kid who fights because fighting is all he knows. Street fights. Playground fights. Fights that end with blood and bruises and someone running away. He has been arrested multiple times. Petty theft. Assault. The system has given up on him. His mother is sick. His father is gone. Mike is alone in a world that does not want him. But Mike Tyson has one thing that keeps him going. One thing that makes him feel like maybe, just maybe, there is something more out there for him. He has a hero. A man he has never met but watches on every television he can find. A man whose name makes Mike's heart race with something close to hope. That man is Muhammad Ali. Mike does not just admire Ali. He studies him. Every fight, every interview, every movement in the ring. When Ali floats across the canvas, Mike memorizes the footwork. When Ali delivers those lightning combinations, Mike shadows the punches in his tiny bedroom. When Ali speaks with that confidence, that power, that refusal to be diminished by anyone, Mike feels something he rarely feels. He feels like maybe he could be something too. Ali is more than a boxer to Mike Tyson. Ali is proof that a man can rise from nothing and become everything. That a man can be feared and loved at the same time. That a man can take all the hate the world throws at him and turn it into fuel. Mike does not have the words for it yet, but what he feels when he watches Ali is possibility. Then everything changes. Cuz D'Amato enters Mike's life. The old trainer, the man who sees something in this angry, violent kid that no one else sees. Cuz takes Mike in, gives him a home, gives him discipline, gives him purpose, and most importantly, Cuz gives Mike a path to become what he has always dreamed of, a fighter, a real fighter. Under Cuz, Mike transforms. The street kid becomes Kid Dynamite. The anger becomes focus. The violence becomes technique. Mike trains like his life depends on it, because in many ways it does. 6 hours a day, 7 days a week, hitting bags until his knuckles bleed, running through the cold morning darkness, watching old fight films with Cuz, learning the history, the strategy, the art of controlled destruction. And through it all, Mike still thinks about Ali, still watches those old fights, still dreams about what it would be like to meet the man who made him believe boxing could save him. But this is where the story takes an unexpected turn. It is 1984. Mike Tyson is 18 years old now. No longer the frightened kid from Brownsville. He is undefeated in his amateur career. 15 fights. 15 knockouts. People are starting to talk about him. Whispers in the boxing world. A new monster is coming. Kid Dynamite. The next great heavyweight. Can arrange something special. Something Mike does not know about until the day it happens. Carangers has connections, old friendships from decades in boxing, and Carangers knows what meeting Ali would mean to Mike. Knows it might be the thing that cements everything they have been building, or it might break something. But Carange believes in taking risks. The call comes on a Tuesday morning. Cassand tells Mike to get dressed. They are going to Los Angeles. Mike asks why. Cassand just smiles, says Mike will find out soon enough. They fly across the country. Mike is nervous, but does not know why. Karis will not tell him where they are going or who they are meeting. Just says it is important, that Mike needs to be respectful, that this meeting matters more than any fight. They arrive at a gym in Los Angeles. Not a famous gym, just a regular training facility. Cuss walks in first. Mike follows, and then Mike sees him, Muhammad Ali, standing in the middle of the gym. 42 years old now. Retired from boxing. His hands shake slightly, early signs of what will become Parkinson's disease. But he is still Ali, still has that presence, that smile, that energy that makes everyone in the room turn and look. Mike Tyson freezes, completely frozen. This kid who has knocked out grown men, this teenager who has a reputation for being fearless and violent. He cannot move, cannot speak, just stands there staring at the man who has been his hero for as long as he can remember. Ali notices, walks over, extends his hand. And Mike Tyson, Kid Dynamite, the most dangerous young fighter in America, starts to cry. Not loud, not dramatic, just tears running down his face. Because this moment is too big, too overwhelming. Mike has imagined meeting Ali 1,000 times, but he never imagined it would feel like this. like meeting a part of himself he thought only existed in dreams. Ali does not laugh, does not mock, just pulls Mike in for a hug, holds this crying teenager who is supposed to be a killer. And in that moment, something shifts in Mike Tyson, something cracks open. They spend the next 3 hours together, Ali and Mike, the legend and the kid who wants to become one. Ali shows Mike around the gym. They hit the bags together. Ali, even with his diminished physical state, still moves with grace, still has that rhythm, and Mike watches in awe, tries to match Ali's movements, tries to absorb every second of this impossible day. But then Ali does something that changes everything for Mike. They sit down on the edge of the ring, just the two of them. Cuss gives them space. And Ali asks Mike a question that no one has ever asked him before. Ali says, "Why do you want to fight?" Mike does not know how to answer at first. He has been asked this before by reporters, by trainers, by people who do not really care about the answer. But Ali is asking for real, really wants to know. And Mike realizes he has never told anyone the truth. Mike says quietly, "Because I am nobody without it. Because if I am not a fighter, I am just another kid from the streets who does not matter." Ali nods slowly. Understands. Then Ali says something Mike Tyson will never forget. Ali says, "That is why you will lose." Mike looks confused, hurt. Ali continues, "If you fight because you think you are nothing without boxing, you will never be free. You will be a slave to it. You will be afraid all the time, afraid of losing, afraid of being exposed as the nothing you think you are. And that fear will destroy you." Ali leans closer. His voice is soft but firm. "You have to fight because you love it. Because it makes you feel alive. Because when you step in that ring, you become the fullest version of yourself. Not because you are running from something, but because you are running toward something, toward greatness, toward truth, toward God." Mike sits there, absorbing, processing. This is not what he expected Ali to say. He expected advice about technique, about training, about how to win. But Ali is talking about something deeper, something Mike has never considered. Ali says, "I know what you are, Mike. I can see it in your eyes. You are angry. You are hurt. You think the world owes you something because of what you have been through. And maybe it does. But if you carry that anger into the ring, it will consume you. You will hurt people. You will hurt yourself. And one day, you will wake up and realize you became the thing you were trying to escape." The gym is quiet. Just Ali's voice. Just Mike listening. Really listening. For maybe the first time in his life. Ali says, "You have a gift, Mike. Real power. Real speed. But power without purpose is just destruction. You need to know why you fight, not just who you are fighting, or how you are going to win, but why it matters. Because if you do not know that, boxing will eat you alive." Mike asks, "How do I figure that out?" Ali smiles, says, "You already know, you just have not admitted it yet. You fight because you want to prove you matter, that you are worth something. But you already matter, Mike. You mattered before you ever stepped in a ring, and you will matter after. The ring is just where you show the world what you already are." They talk for another hour, about life, about faith, about the cost of being a fighter. Ali tells Mike stories about his own struggles, the exile from boxing, the hatred from people who thought he was a traitor, the loneliness of being at the top. He tells Mike that being the champion is the easy part. Staying human is the hard part. When it is time to leave, Ali walks Mike to the door, puts both hands on Mike's shoulders, looks him in the eyes, says, "Remember what I told you. Do not let boxing make you into something you are not. Stay human, Mike. No matter how many fights you win, stay human." Mike nods, still cannot find words. Ali hugs him again, and then Mike Tyson walks out of that gym a different person than when he walked in. But this is where the tragedy begins. Mike Tyson goes on to become exactly what Kos trained him to be, a destroyer. The youngest heavyweight champion in history at 20 years old, knocking out opponents in the first round, creating a legacy of fear and dominance. Kid Dynamite becomes Iron Mike, the most terrifying fighter on the planet. But Ali's words fade. The lesson does not stick, because the anger is still there, the hurt is still there, and Mike lets boxing consume him. Lets it turn him into exactly what Ali warned against. A man who fights because he thinks he is nothing without it. A man who carries so much rage that he cannot see straight. A man who hurts people because he is hurting. The world watches Mike Tyson destroy his career. The bad decisions, the legal troubles, the implosion. And those who knew about that day in 1984, that meeting with Ali, they wonder if Mike remembers, if he thinks about what Ali said, if he wishes he had listened. Years later, after prison, after bankruptcy, after all the pain and public humiliation, Mike Tyson is asked about his heroes, about who inspired him, and Mike talks about Ali, always talks about Ali. But now there is something different in his voice. Regret, understanding, the kind of wisdom that only comes from making every mistake Ali warned him about. Mike says in an interview, "Ali told me not to let boxing make me into something I was not, and I did not listen. I let it turn me into a monster. I let it consume me, and I lost everything because of it. He knew, he saw it in me, and he tried to save me from myself, but I was too young, too angry, too stupid to understand." The interviewer asks if Mike ever talked to Ali again after that first meeting. Mike says yes, a few times over the years, but it was different. Mike was different, harder, more closed off, and Ali's condition was getting worse. The shaking, the difficulty speaking, time was running out for both of them in different ways. Mike says, "The last time I saw him, I apologized, told him I should have listened. And you know what Ali did? He smiled. That same smile. And he said, 'You are still here, Mike. Still fighting. That means there is still time.' And I realized he was not talking about boxing. He was talking about life, about becoming the man I was supposed to be." Muhammad Ali died in 2016. Mike Tyson spoke at his memorial, stood in front of thousands of people, and talked about the man who tried to save him, talked about that day in 1984, talked about the lesson he learned too late, and Mike cried again, just like he did when he was 18. Because some things never change, some people mark you forever. Mike Tyson is 60 years old now, still training, still fighting in exhibitions, still trying to figure out who he is outside the ring. And when people ask him about his legacy, about what he wants to be remembered for, Mike always comes back to that day, that conversation, that moment when the greatest boxer of all time looked at a scared kid and tried to show him a different path. Mike says, "Ali gave me everything I needed to avoid the mistakes I made, and I ignored it. But that is not his failure. That is mine. The lesson was there, the wisdom was there. I just was not ready to receive it. But I carry it now, every day. And maybe that is the point. Maybe we do not learn the most important lessons when they are given to us. Maybe we learn them when we finally understand the cost of not learning them." The echo of that meeting lives in everything Mike Tyson does now. The way he talks about mental health. The way he encourages young fighters to find purpose beyond winning. The way he has tried late in life to become the person Ali believed he could be. Not the champion. Not the destroyer. Just a man who understands that boxing was never the thing that made him matter. He always mattered. He just could not see it. And somewhere, in the space between who Mike was and who he became, there is a 14-year-old kid watching Muhammad Ali on a broken television, believing that boxing could save him. And in a way it did. Just not the way he thought. Not through victories or titles or fear, but through one conversation, one warning, one moment of grace from a hero who saw past the anger and violence to the human being underneath. That is the echo of Kid Dynamite. Not the knockouts, not the championships, but the moment when Mike Tyson met the man who showed him there was another way, and the lifetime it took to finally understand what that meant.